Hey YouTube land, just Jax here. It is March of 2021, so that means I am officially 3 years on testosterone. And for those that might be new to my channel, or my videos in general, I have been marking my journey of trying to medically transition, which means for me starting testosterone since before I was able to start testosterone, and I just will make vlogs talking about it and other things going on. And so, since it is the anniversary of my first testosterone shot, that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. I don't edit these videos, I don't really have a script, I just speak naturally and see where they kind of take me. So, I do have ADD, and we'll see how this goes. First, like I said, for those that don't know me or my story, I was born a female, and at the age of 18, I discovered that I am trans, which means I was born female, but I am male. And for me, after learning about what steps someone who is transgender can take to feel better in their own body, I decided that medically transitioning, which means the process of starting hormone therapy called HRT, would be right for me, I felt. And it took me until I was 38 to be able to start that process. There was a lot of different reasons that went into it. Some of those were self-confidence issues, feeling I didn't deserve it. I wasn't worthy of it. Some of it was people in my life. They didn't want me to become a man for their own reasons. There were family members that thought that because of a chronic illness that I have, that my medical transition could possibly make that situation worse. And there were also times I never had medical insurance. The area I live in, it's really hard to find someone that will help you medically transition within the area. So being able to travel out of the area to be able to transition was a factor. And it was just a long, daunting process for me. But after I was able to start, I realized that I was mentally in the best place to start. And I don't feel like I ever was before that. I don't know how to explain it. It's just something that I know of myself, for myself. And it's something I don't really have to explain, although I try to let people know what it meant. The biggest thing that I've learned throughout this whole process is patience. I still have trouble with that, with things that I expect and things that I want for my transition. Hormones don't fix everything. You have to love yourself, and I'm still working on that. I'm still bad about taking compliments about who I am as a person, let alone my appearance and being a man in general. I still critique things about myself, from mannerisms to how whenever I'm goofing around with people, I'll make my voice a higher pitch or something, goofing around, and then I'm like, oh, that wasn't manly. That's not a thing. I'm exactly the man that I'm supposed to be. And I didn't realize until after I started hormones that I was a man before hormones. Like, I'm biologically a man now, but I was still a man. And I wish I could go back and tell my younger self that. And I regret the years I wasted letting other people tell me I wasn't man enough to be a man, because of the same things that I critique about myself. And I just have to trust this process still. For me, I had four major goals for my transition for myself, and it was to legally change my name, and to medically start hormones, to change my gender, and for myself to go through um, gender surgery just for my chest. Um, I personally don't feel, given the options that are available and the processes of those options, that bottom or penis surgery is something for me. I don't need that to feel complete or more of a man or anything like that. My bottom dysphoria, meaning that area of my body is not dysphoric enough for me to go through the surgeries that are available. My chest dysphoria is. So that's the only thing I have left for myself. And I just want to tell anybody that's watching this, whether you're trans or not, you don't have to have hormones, you don't have to have surgery to be who you are. You're who you're meant to be. This life is a harder life. It messes with you mentally in so many ways that it's hard to explain to other people who aren't trans. But if you are, just that sentence will strike you in your heart. it's it's a rough battle, but it's a battle that you can overcome. You just have to be patient with yourself, and you have to learn to love yourself, which is even harder when you're born in the wrong body. As for things that have happened to me, I wanted to have an outsider looking in at me and helping me through my transition. Even though in the state that I'm in and the doctor that I see for my hormones doesn't require it, I wanted a therapist. I wanted someone to help guide me through a journey that I had no idea where it would take me mentally, physically, and emotionally. And because of that, I was diagnosed with, at the time, mixed bipolar between 1 and 2, because I have extremely high highs and I have extremely low lows. And since then has been switched to mixed mood disorder, which is still kind of a newer thing, I've been told. And getting that in check has helped my life tremendously. And without being on hormones, that could have still gone undiagnosed. And yeah, I'm in a lot better place mentally because of that. And I will always be thankful to those that have helped me along the way with that. So that's been a good change. Physically, I haven't measured myself in the last year and a half, but in the first year of my transition, I gained an inch in my head, my neck, the width of my shoulders, and in my legs. I bulked up, and that's a pretty big bulk for someone. Pretty quickly. My weight did not go up. I don't know about my body fat and being redistributed throughout my body other than the bulking up. I don't know if it changed my hips or this, that, or the other. I just know it did change my calves. I have traps without working out. My calves, my thighs, and like I said, I did get whiter. So I don't know how that got transitioned throughout my body and where it came from, but I still, before I medically transitioned, I had a dad bod, and I still have a dad bod. I still have what I call a little bit of a gut, and it stayed in that area. So, and my chest has stayed the same size as far as I know of. It hasn't gotten smaller, in my opinion. So that situation is harder for me to tell, other than the measurements that I was taking. I was working in a job where I had to wear dress shirts, and I personally chose to wear ties. And within 6 months, I had to start unbuttoning the button, and I couldn't wear ties anymore because those dress shirts got too small. That's how I first realized before I took the measurements again. So there was that. My voice changed fairly fast, in my opinion. I was using a voice app to measure it, where I just read a chapter in a book and it would measure the pitch of my voice and tell me, and I was saw it steadily dropping. And at the same time, if you look through my channels, I was doing monthly videos for my first year, and I was listening to those, and I was just like, "Is that me?" It wasn't. It was a slow drop, but it was noticeable to me. Or like I would hear someone else take a recording of me and play it back, and I'm like, "Who was that?" And they were like, "That's you." So that was that was a fast and the first change that I noticed, because I felt like I had a cold, is what I always tell other trans gentlemen, that I just really felt like I had a cold for the first 3 months. And I would have to take a leave every day because my throat hurt that bad, and I was having to take lozenges with me for the job because I was talking a lot. And my throat was constantly sore, and then I saw other people had the same issue, and it was their voice changing. It was the voice box changing and everything. So that was the very first thing that I noticed, other than hunger. But I still have done really good to keep myself in check, and I don't snack a lot. My diet is restricted for my chronic illness, and I do well to follow that and not go crazy with food. So I didn't gain weight. So like I said, my body weight has stayed the same, within the same 5 pounds this entire time. So like I said, it just, my body has shifted in some ways. Then after that, I just got a calmness in my own skin. It's something I still work on, but it was just this feeling that finally my mind was aligning with something that it hadn't aligned with before that. And then those were the first things, and everything else was a slow progression. Like I said, the bulking up, I was diagnosed with growing pains, so I don't know if that bulking of my muscles and changing within the first year is common or not. But it was enough pain at some times to send me to the doctor. And then slowly my facial hair has started to come in, and it's something that still bothers me. This side is the side that is still patchy. I did get a barber shave about a week and a half ago, so this is what grew in within a week and a half. I didn't get this cut, so this is a couple months growth that was trimmed, and this side you can see will still grow except for right there. And then underneath grows pretty good right here, but not here. And then there's this patch here, and there's a patch here. I still feel that I need a beard to be manly, or to be more of a man, and I'm still working on that. I figured by 3 years it would be in a little bit better. I do have an Instagram feed where I take pictures of my beard, or lack thereof, in the beginning, every couple of months or every month or so, just to show myself. And I'm glad I did that, because it shows me where I came from, which I know was a baby face. But it's still nice to go back and look at that and see where I've been and where I've come from and how it's progressing now, and it's better than I thought. So I'm glad I did that. And other than that, there's not much has changed about me. My face has changed. There's that. Like I said, my body has bulked, and there's little more manly things about my physical appearance, but I'm still the same person. And like I said, I wish I would have been able to tell myself that years ago, that that won't change. Who I am as a person doesn't change. It didn't. Testosterone doesn't make me more angry. Being medicated for my mixed mood disorders makes me less angry. I still have moments. I do have. I don't know if there's a term for it or a diagnosis for it, but I do get overstimulated easily, which makes me cranky. I do have a chronic illness that we call. I get pangry instead of hangry. I get pangry, so I do have to work on that. There's not medication for that, but socially, I still get mammed, especially now. I feel like with masks and stuff, even though my voice has dropped a lot, I still, there's inflections in the way that women talk that you don't realize until you're trying to not do it anymore. So when I'm comfortable I still have female inflections on words and the way I ask questions and how I talk in certain manners that I didn't realize that I did. And the easiest way for me to tell if I pass or not in public, without someone saying ma'am or sir to me, is how they talk to me. How men and women are interacted with in society is a big difference, and living on both sides of that is very interesting. So, and it's something that's really hard to explain. It would take me another 15 minutes to go into examples and stuff for. Um, but just being on both sides of it, it's really interesting, especially how men will talk to a woman versus how they will talk to a man. Just it's just something that still blows my mind because I would still be on guard with men, especially being trans. In I live in the Midwest. Um, I still am very, 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 very wary of men that I don't know, until I hear them interact with me and how they're going to interact with me. And within a few sentences, I can tell whether I can breathe a sigh of relief or have to still be on guard. Because if they view me as a woman, then I still have to be careful. And then if they realize, I worry that they realize that I'm a trans woman, then I'm even more, or not trans woman, trans man, um, then I have to worry on a whole new level. So I still do have social anxiety about being myself and being out. And I don't know how long that will take to go away. Um, it may be something that I have the rest of my life. I don't know. That's just something that I have to learn to live with and learn to hopefully overcome and be more confident in myself. Because when I am more confident with myself, um, I do project myself a little bit more masculine than I have in the past. Um, but what's funny is the more comfortable I am with someone, sometimes the less masculine I am. um, so like I was never really girly, but with my mannerisms and how I talk and how I joke with people and stuff, I get a little, I don't know. It's just the way that if you know me, you know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to explain just sitting here talking without doing it. It's not something I can put on as an act. It's just, and I'm learning to know that that's okay because that's who I am, and the people that love me, and I get told that it's okay to be me. I don't need to put on a front. I don't need to try to be someone else. I don't need to be a toxic man to be a man. And you don't either. And you don't have to be super feminine to be the woman that you were born to be. You just need to be yourself. And as for my journey, I share it because it's my truth. It's who I am. And it's I'm not trying to gloat. I'm not trying to say that I'm amazing for this. It's just something that's happened. I've lost count of how many people that have come out to me since I've shared my journey more so recently than I had before. And I don't know if that's also a changing of times and just people being more open and aware of it, but that's not why I share my stories, is for awareness. And it being so on the forefront now, I think that has helped because without that a documentary that I happened to see on TLC about one trans man in bumfuck Midwest as well, I would have never learned who I was. Watching that show and seeing someone talk about who they were as a child and everything that they were saying rang true to me, and I realized, oh my gosh, that's me. That's who I am. So if I can help one person, I will do it. The same way me sharing my chronic illness. Um, so I will keep making videos. I will keep making posts. I will keep speaking my truth. And some people can't handle that. And that's okay. That's on them. That's not on me. And if you're struggling with who you are, if you made it this far into this video, you have people in your corner. And just be you. Be the best you can be. And that's all that I can do. And that's something I will continue to work on. I will just be Jax. So until next time, I appreciate you sticking around for as long as you've been here and as long as you continue to be here. And for those that personally know me and have supported me way before this ever started, thank you. And I'm starting to see the person that you have always seen. So until next time, thanks.